Hey Raiders fans, we are back with the latest updates and insider takes on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. And today we have so much to break down. If you have been following the team closely, you know there's a lot of excitement and a little bit of uncertainty surrounding the squad as we head deeper into the season. From player performances to strategic decisions, the team has already given us plenty to talk about, and we're going to dissect it all so you know exactly what to watch for in the upcoming games. One of the first topics we have to dive into is the future of some of the younger players. It's still early to make absolute predictions, but there are a few names that are really standing out and could easily become long-term staples of this franchise. Brock Bowers has been a revelation. Every time he steps on the field, you see the kind of impact he can make, and even when he's not at 100%, he still manages to create opportunities and put points on the board. His combination of size, athleticism, and versatility makes him a nightmare for opposing defenses, and it's clear that the Raiders want him to be a cornerstone of their offense for years to come. Alongside Bowers, JPJ has also been showing tremendous growth and consistency. His ability to adapt and execute within the team system gives the coaching staff a lot of confidence that he will be around for the long haul. Dante Thornton Jr. is another young player trending in the right direction. The talent is evident, and if he continues on this trajectory, there's no reason to doubt that he will be a part of the Raiders' core for multiple seasons. Ashton Jenney is another name that draws a lot of attention. Drafted high with the intention of being a key contributor, the organization clearly sees long-term potential in him, and there's every reason to believe he will be around for the next stage of the Raiders' development. Of course, not every young player's future is set in stone. Darren Porter remains something of a question mark, and a lot will depend on how he performs in the upcoming games. Similarly, Dylan Pum will have to prove himself as the season progresses. One thing is certain. The Raiders have assembled a roster full of young talent from a variety of regimes and philosophies, and the hope is that many of these players will earn the contracts and roles that match their potential. Moving on from individual player outlooks, let's talk about team needs and areas where the Raiders might focus their efforts. The departure of Amari Cooper has sparked plenty of discussion about how the team will address the wide receiver position. While there is no doubt that replacing a player of his caliber is challenging, it's important to note that the team's depth at receiver, including what they have in players like Geno Smith, gives them some flexibility. Offensive line needs, however, might be even more pressing. Protecting the quarterback and creating lanes for the running game is crucial, and if the Raiders can make improvements here, it will have a ripple effect across the entire offense. Cornerback and safety positions are also under scrutiny. Some of the younger players have already shown promise, and if the team can bolster the backfield with a combination of experience and talent, it could greatly enhance their defensive stability. Looking at matchups, Kyle Kelly has been playing at a high level, and pairing him strategically with players like Stephon Gilmore or Eric Stokes on the outside could create opportunities to solidify the secondary. Kyer Elam in the slot is another example of how the coaching staff can maximize player strengths. With the right adjustments and preparation, the Raiders can address multiple areas of need without making drastic changes to their lineup. Now, let's talk about Brock Bowers in more detail. His presence on the field changes how defenses have to prepare. Even if he's not at full strength, he still commands attention and forces opponents to alter their game plans. Last week, he played 3 quarters and still led all tight ends in receiving yards. That's the kind of impact that few players can match, and it emphasizes just how important he is to the Raiders' offense. Expect him to be a central figure in the upcoming Monday Night Football matchup, and if he's healthy enough to go, he will likely see a significant share of targets. Supporting players like Michael Mayer and Jacoby Myers will be ready to step up if needed, but Bowers remains the focal point, and his versatility as both a receiver and tight end gives the Raiders so many options to attack defenses. Watching how he is utilized will be one of the most intriguing aspects of the game, and it's clear that his role is only going to grow as the season moves forward. Ashton Jenney is also a player who deserves attention. While the numbers might not always match up statistically with someone like Josh Jacobs, his talent is undeniable. The Raiders are in the early stages of integrating him more effectively into the game plan, And when you consider his ability to make plays both on the ground and in open space, he could be a dynamic weapon. Some games might see him break big runs, while others will emphasize his receiving skills out of the backfield. The coaching staff will need to continue finding ways to maximize his unique abilities, and if they do, Jenny could become a cornerstone of the offense alongside veterans and emerging stars alike. When it comes to the defense, the matchup against the Chargers brings several points of focus. The offensive line will need to be sharp, especially given the quality of the Chargers' defensive front. Weather and field conditions can also play a role, and any struggles up front could expose the team to pressure and create challenges for the quarterback. Players like Max Crosby are always motivated to perform, and with a home crowd that is overwhelmingly in support of the Raiders, the energy in the stadium will be electric. Defensive matchups, particularly in the secondary, will be critical. Christian Gonzalez's health is a determining factor in how the Raiders can approach covering key receivers. Keenan Allen has historically been a primary target, and neutralizing him will be a priority to limit the Chargers' offensive efficiency. The interplay between defensive strategy and player execution in these scenarios can be the difference between a hard-fought victory and a missed opportunity, and it's something the coaching staff will be analyzing closely as game day approaches. Beyond individual matchups, the bigger picture revolves around building consistency and momentum. The Raiders have had moments of brilliance and moments of frustration, but the young core is showing that they can grow into a cohesive unit capable of competing at a high level. The blend of experienced players like Geno Smith with emerging stars like Bowers, Jenny, and Thornton creates an interesting dynamic that gives fans reasons to be optimistic. Each week brings an opportunity to test the depth, adaptability, and resilience of this team, and Monday Night Football is a perfect stage for these players to demonstrate what they are capable of. The focus is on execution, awareness, and making plays when it matters most, and so far, the Raiders are showing that they have both the talent and the determination to make an impact. Every question from fans highlights the excitement surrounding this team. Whether it's about the potential statistical output of Jenny or Bowers, or how the offensive and defensive lines will hold up, each discussion point paints a picture of a team in transition, yet full of promise. The engagement from the fan base shows how invested people are in the Raiders' journey, and that energy feeds back into the team. The upcoming games are going to be a test of skill, preparation, and mental toughness, and there is no shortage of storylines to follow. The young stars need to prove themselves, veterans need to lead effectively, and the coaching staff must continue making strategic adjustments that leverage the strengths of this roster. We also can't overlook the broader context of player development. A tight end like Brock Bowers has the potential to dominate the league for years if he continues on his current path. A running back like Ashton Jenny offers explosive potential in shorter bursts, and the combination of these talents creates a unique offensive weaponry that opposing teams must prepare for differently each week. Watching how these players evolve and how the coaching staff maximizes their skill sets will be fascinating, especially as the Raiders push to climb in the standings. In addition, managing injuries and player conditioning is a huge part of what the Raiders are facing. Brock Bowers may not be 100%, but the team has designed game plans to accommodate any limitations while still keeping him central to their offensive schemes. Meanwhile, Ashton Jenny's role may expand as opportunities arise, and other young players like Dante Thornton will be ready to step in when needed. The balance of talent, opportunity, and strategic planning will determine how far the Raiders can go this season, and it is already shaping up to be an intense and captivating campaign. The dynamic between offense and defense also plays a key role. Protecting the quarterback, creating holes for the running game, and maintaining solid coverage in the secondary are all interrelated factors that will influence the outcome of each game. With players like Max Crosby bringing consistent energy and pressure on the quarterback, the defensive line can set the tone early. Meanwhile, the offensive line must rise to the occasion to give Bowers, Jenny, and Geno Smith the space they need to execute plays effectively. Coordination, communication, and awareness are essential, and watching how the Raiders manage these elements will be one of the most interesting aspects of the season. Fans have also been curious about strategic matchups and player highlights. How will the Raiders approach a high-powered Chargers offense? Which receivers will create the most challenges? How can the secondary adjust to limit big plays? These questions all speak to the depth of analysis that goes into each game. For example, Keenan Allen has been a reliable target for Justin Herbert, and containing him will be crucial. On the offensive side, getting the most out of Brock Bowers and Ashton Jenney while keeping defenses off balance is equally critical. The chess match between opposing coaches, combined with player execution, sets the stage for some of the most exciting football moments fans can experience. Continuing with the Raiders' story, one of the most intriguing aspects of this team is how the young core is being shaped by experience and opportunity. Each game presents a chance for players like Dante Thornton, Ashton Jenney, and Brock Bowers to prove that they belong on the field at a high level. Thornton's size and speed give him the ability to stretch the field vertically, and when the coaching staff finds creative ways to use him, he can become a mismatch nightmare for defenses. His development is directly tied to how the offense is structured, and if executed well, he could become a central figure in the Raiders' long-term plans. The way Bowers continues to dominate the tight end position is another story entirely. His ability to line up in multiple positions, sometimes as a receiver, sometimes in a traditional tight end role, keeps defenses guessing, and that unpredictability is a huge advantage for the Raiders. Even when he isn't completely healthy, his skill set ensures that he remains one of the top 5 tight ends in the league, and that level of impact is hard to replace. Looking at the Raiders' overall team dynamics, the energy and passion from the home crowd cannot be overstated. Playing in front of an overwhelmingly Raider-supporting stadium provides both motivation and pressure. Max Crosby and other defensive leaders thrive in these environments, and the team's ability to channel crowd energy into performance can be a decisive factor in tight games. The connection between the players and fans is palpable, and it often translates in a higher intensity, more focus, and better execution in critical moments. This relationship is particularly evident during primetime matchups, where the atmosphere in the stadium can elevate the team's play and create unforgettable experiences for everyone involved. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are already circulating through the neon-lit streets of Las Vegas, and the NFL world is holding its breath. Could the Raiders be quietly assembling one of the most feared duos on the line of scrimmage? Sources suggest that defensive juggernaut Nick BOSA might be joining forces with the veteran powerhouse Lane Johnson in Sin City. And if true, the silver and black could be on the verge of creating a wall that quarterbacks everywhere will dread. Imagine the sight. BOSA, relentless and explosive off the edge, paired with Johnson, a seasoned anchor in the trenches with the skill to protect his quarterback and dominate defenders alike. Raiders fans have long dreamed of a defense that strikes fear while the offense thrives behind a stalwart line. And now, the buzz suggests that dream could be inching closer to reality. The synergy between BOSA's quickness and Johnson's brute force could redefine what it means to play in the trenches, making Vegas a dangerous destination for any opposing offense. Of course, nothing is confirmed, but insiders say discussions are heating up, with whispers of the Raiders' front office is aggressively exploring ways to make this pairing happen. Analysts speculate that such a union wouldn't just bolster the defensive front. It could shift the entire identity of the team, turning them into a side that blends high-octane offense with an impenetrable barrier on the defensive line. Opponents may soon find themselves staring down a nightmare scenario. BOSA coming off the edge while Johnson controls the line, leaving quarterbacks no space and no time to breathe. The mere possibility has fans buzzing and social media erupting with speculation. Could this be the year Las Vegas finally asserts itself as a true powerhouse? If BOSA and Johnson do land together, the Raiders may have just crafted the most formidable front the league has seen in years. For now, it's all whispers and rumors. But in the City of Lights, even whispers have the power to ignite a frenzy. Raiders Nation is holding its breath, and the NFL might be on the verge of witnessing a seismic shift in the balance of power. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.